Hello and welcome. My name is Simon Hoy. I'm the Partner Marketing Manager here at Insight, and it gives me great pleasure to host today's session. I have with me today Matt Brown and Aaron Major from Samsung, and we'll be exploring how Samsung is helping organisations overcome some of the key security challenges they face. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, thanks, Simon. My name is Matt Brown. I work for Samsung Electronics in the UK. I'm an account director for our business, working with some of our key value-added resellers in the channel, supporting with them with all of their needs around customer requirements for anything to do with mobile, tablet, and specifically relevant to today's conversation, the Knox suite of products and our software solutions.
Thanks, Matt. Aaron?
Hi, so I'm Aaron Major, head of the Business Service Centre. So I look after everything that's support side, so everything that Matt sells we support, so across mobile but also display, memory, including things like your washing machines and tumble dryers and stuff as well. So we're an onshore contact centre, so we're based out of Leeds, and we have all of the facilities to support everyone. So everything from first line engineering all the way to second line to make sure we can truly support everyone in the UK.
Fantastic. So let's start by talking about some of the value-added solutions that complement Samsung products and address some of the common challenges that we see our customers facing on a day-to-day basis. Matt, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, so I think typically as the customer's portfolio of products and technology has become more widespread, there's even more of a challenge and pressure on customers to spend more effectively, to really squeeze every ounce of productivity and ROI out of the technology that they have. There's a much more mobilized and dispersed workforce, and I think it's important that those endpoints that our customers are using to facilitate their business are secured, managed, maintained, and it's really important that we help provide the information and the software solutions to support that. So our customers are also experiencing increased estate sizes. Frontline workers now are needing mobile technology to allow them to do their day-to-day workings. And also, I think there's more bespoke applications coming into the workforce now. So making sure that those devices are secured and the data upon them is secure is extremely important to making sure that our customers have all the technology that they need in the right place for them.
Yeah, indeed. So how collectively can we help customers define those challenges and support them in their journey?
First of all, it's about understanding the challenges that the customers are facing. Touched on a couple there, but each customer within the UK will have a different set of requirements. And then really we can help by understanding what those challenges are and which of our products are suitable to support them.
So let's talk a little bit about the Knox suite. Aaron, can you give us a bit more of a detail in terms of the security capabilities and what Knox means for customers?
Yeah, of course. So one thing to remember about Knox is that it's a product category rather than just one thing. So when you talk about Knox, you're actually talking about the whole security suite of solutions rather than just one particular product. And the whole purpose of Knox is to balance security and usability for all businesses. So Knox Suite is a combination of a select few products, which we have within the Knox category, that meets all kind of main business requirements to make sure that they provide that usability and security balance. So Knox Suite includes Knox Manage, which is our EMM solution. So that's to control all of your devices, including non-Samsung Android devices. So it should be clear, it's the one product we have in our Knox portfolio that covers every single device. So that includes iOS, that includes Wear OS, Windows, Chrome OS as well. So effectively, whatever's in your estate, you're able to manage from there. You then have ePhoto. So ePhoto is enterprise firmware over the air. So very long words to essentially manage your security updates to your devices. So in the past, you always had an option to kind of update a device or not update a device, but you couldn't control when those updates landed, what time, who they were deployed to. So that helps you manage those. We'll go into more detail on that later. You then have Knox Asset Intelligence. So that's more outside the security realm, but actually managing your estate. So understanding how your estate is behaving, how the battery levels are in your estate, what the Wi-Fi connection is like, are they charged at the beginning of a shift and are they lasting the whole shift? And again, we'll be able to show you a bit more of that on a demo as well. You then have remote support, so the ability to actually remote to devices wherever they are in the world. Again, really, really important, especially from my side of things. When you've got someone based in Leeds but a user in Scotland, they're then able to remote into those devices from there. So Knox Suite covers all of those broad elements, and then they tie into the main Knox security on the hardware as well. And that's the piece that is super important to most businesses, because being secure from hardware is equally as important as being secure from the software level.
And so from your perspective, where have you seen Knox Suite really be implemented in a real world environment for customers?
Yeah, so it depends on the customer. So this is the key thing. What we're not trying to do is take a solution pre-built. We want customers to come to us and say, this is the scenario we have, and then we solve it with Knox. So for example, we've had nurseries for daycare for children. Two very good scenarios there is that they have devices on site so they can share updates around the activities the kids are up to for the parents, keep them engaged, really, really nice. But then also they run their own food delivery. Now the issue with that is that notoriously kids will walk away with devices. My son has done that from his school before.
Indeed, mine too.
Yeah. So there's the piece about, well, how do you secure that hardware? Obviously, again, as Matt mentioned, everyone's pushed for budget these days. You don't want a device walking away, you want that returned. But also, how do you secure the data on the device, because it has pictures of the facilities and children on there as well. But then how do you make sure that when they're delivering food, they're still able to do bits? So we've done a couple of things around there using geofencing, so effectively selecting an area so the devices behave differently inside that area. So the devices that are on site, if they leave that area, they become locked. Can't access the data on them, and you can trigger a note to say, please return to the school. Whereas the facilities drivers who are delivering the meals, they're able to scan everything on the camera, and then when they walk into the facility, that camera disables, means that they can't take pictures while on site, but can still functionally complete their job, collect signatures and all of those elements as well. You see that across a lot, so not just within there, but things like manufacturing and stuff as well. If you're going to a secure site, how do you make sure that the elements of those devices are locked down and protected in the way that you need to? So that's solving it with Knox. We spoke to the customer, they told us the scenarios, and we were able to answer that using one of the products there. Things like ePhoto, you will generally tend to find most customers will use that now. The scenario will always tend to be you have two types of people. You have people like myself who will generally ignore IT when they get a notification saying, please don't update to the latest version of software because we've not tested it yet. I'll update it, it will break a corporate application, meaning I can't functionally do my job properly. Responsibilities on me. I wholeheartedly agree with that, but it means that I was still able to deploy the update. You then have people who don't want to update because they're afraid of change, and actually that might be a security update that fixes a critical vulnerability. So you want to make sure that device is deployed from a business perspective to make sure the device is secured. ePhoto allows you to choose the users, choose the updates, choose what time they're deployed, even down to the battery level on the device. So again, suits those needs there. And then again, go to the other product I mentioned, which is asset intelligence. You look at things like police forces or people who have a lot of dispersed workers. That allows them to see what the battery level was at the start of a shift. Are those batteries lasting the whole shift? Are there devices that are so old that they now have a battery that probably needs to be replaced, and therefore you need to book a service order to get that battery swapped out? Elements like that which give businesses real insight into devices that actually allows them to provide that usability back to the end user rather than waiting for them to raise a ticket with IT. So again, you're going to it proactively rather than reactively as well.
Indeed. And are there any other opportunities you're exploring with any of our clients around some of the other value-added Knox services?
Yeah, I think so. There's an interesting use case that we're currently exploring with a retailer where they're using tablets in a kiosk environment. So the devices are very heavily locked down from a hardware perspective. And in that environment, they've got a very dispersed set of stores with these tablets that are used for order management and inventory management. So not only is Knox Manage a great way for them to use the kiosk mode and essentially create a single app kiosk in that tablet device, but also then using ePhoto, they're able to centrally manage the updates on those tablets, push them out to all of those locations across the UK without having to have that manual intervention that you might need if those tablets were self-updating.
So saving time and increasing productivity.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think you were going to tell us a little bit more about the power that sits within asset intelligence.
Thank you, Simon. So I just wanted to take you through the Knox Asset Intelligence page. So get here by logging into your Samsung Knox.com account. And once you've loaded up your devices in here, it will start capturing data. After 7 days, you'll start to see some real life data about your devices within Knox Asset Intelligence. So here you'll land on your dashboard. So the first thing you'll see about your dashboard, this is completely your ability to organize it. So you choose the things that are most important to you as a business. So as you can see, I can scroll down and there's an awful lot of data for me to see. Things around battery drain events, battery health state, where data is being used. So whether that's on a mobile or Wi-Fi network across your estate, even down to applications. So any applications that have been used or forced closed, any problems around there. The easiest way to have a look through this data is actually just by clicking through the shortcuts along the side. So as we go into apps, what you'll then see is your applications across all of your devices and all groups. Again, you can customize this to specific groups that you want to see using the search boxes across the top, but it will tell me here the applications with the most issues. Again, you can drill into this if you wish to do so, but it'll also tell me the version of the applications and what operating system it's running on, to which is actually having the most problems. So you can see here, these are all demo applications, but causing the apps to have incompatible events or any crashes. Across the other side, I'm also able to see apps with the highest battery consumption. And again, this may drive behavior for your business to actually perform activities outside of asset intelligence. For example, to update devices through ePhoto, or to update your applications using your EMM console, something like Knox Manage. I can also see which applications are being used the most and any that are running in the background that may again be causing the battery to deplete quicker. And I can also see managed and unmanaged applications. Again, important from you as a business or your customers as a business to understand how much of their estate is currently using unmanaged applications and how secure those unmanaged applications may be as well. If we then go into network, this will give you further insights into not just how the device is behaving, but how your access points across sites are behaving as well. So any disconnection events from there, any latency and any response time issues as well. You're also able to drill into your network usage type, how much of that is 5G, 4G or 3G. Again, helping support your users if they're turning around to you and saying can't get signal or the signal is weaker at certain points within the business. Able to then support them better by talking with the network provider or providing them with different access points or updated access points through here as well. When you click into battery, this will give you all of the information around low battery, charging, consumed or fully charged. So the state of the device as of right now. Again, you can force this to do an update by clicking the refresh at the bottom. So from here, this is also telling me that 215 of my devices within the estate are probably due for either a service order or replacement because the battery is now degraded to the point where it's bad. So the performance may be reduced in terms of what they expect the full battery life on that device to be. It'll also tell me if there are shifts that are running and any devices on those that are starting with low battery. Again, more for people who are shift working, so police forces, but also where you have shared devices within manufacturing logistics and making sure those devices are usable for the next user who picks those up and is able to move on. Again, it will tell me here that 23 of the groups have 25% or more devices with low battery at start of shift. So again, that gives me the opportunity to perform some training or some guidance to those sites to make sure devices are updated and charged. Through here, I can also go down and you see you've got battery charging events. So how many of those are currently being charged throughout the day. And also battery levels at start and ends of shifts, which can be customized and set by the user themselves. In terms of security, again, really important. So Samsung devices will receive a monthly security patch. Key thing here is that you will then have different types of security patches that are released. So critical, high, medium, and low. This will again tell you how many devices you have within your estate, which currently have critical vulnerabilities against them. You're able to then click into those and get more of a report through here and actually drill into the data to make sure that those devices are updated. So this is very important for people using ePhoto as a companion product across their Knox suite, because again, they can choose the devices that they wish to update to make sure that those critical updates are delivered down to the device, depending on when and who they want them deployed to. Finally, there is a location option, so I'm just going to click across. So with the location, you're able to see how many are enrolled. You can see the exact device count within areas once they go over 1,000. You can hover over and see further details around device locations. Again, this is backing information to your EMM. So most EMMs will do a level of device location tracking. This gives you further details and will be able to give you information around access points that are being used in and out of those locations and identify any errors or issues within those access points, as well as network issues if you are struggling to get network signal within a particular area as well. The key thing to remember about Asset Intelligence is it's fully customizable to your needs. So while all of this information can be a bit scary at first, what you're able to do is drill into the information that matters to you as a business or as a customer and present it directly on the dashboard here. It's a way to be proactive rather than reactive to deliver you information around devices within your estate so that you're able to support your end users without waiting for things to go wrong. You can drill into the data, identify any problems, and then deliver solutions over the air using the wider Knox suite products like Knox Manage, Knox ePhoto. Through here, your licenses are the same licenses that you use across your estate. If you have a Knox Suite key, you can purchase this separately if you wish to do so, if you don't want to purchase a Knox Suite key. And finally, you can have multiple administrators and within those administrators set roles and access that they have as well. So to make sure that your dashboard isn't modified in a way that you don't.
So we hear a lot from some of our customers in certain verticals about the importance of cyber essentials compliance. Can you give us a little bit more detail on what that means? Yeah,
so the main thing is, as I mentioned earlier, Knox in terms of security is secured from the hardware up. So the device itself is secure. The fact that it turns on has AES 256 encryption, so the highest level of encryption you can get. The ability to sandbox applications so that no data flows between them, bits and pieces like that. What Knox Suite then brings to it is the ability to control and secure that data, but also deliver software updates in a timely manner as well. So what you're starting to see now is people generally tend to have one device for two purposes. So for me, for example, I use it as a personal phone, but also as a work phone. The problem there for a lot of businesses will be the cross-contamination of personal and work data between two different systems. So I use OneDrive as personal. Businesses will also use OneDrive. The risk of me accidentally uploading personal data into a work OneDrive is very obvious and easy to do, but also works the other way around. So things like Knox Manage, other EMMs also support it. You can have a workplace. So essentially that is a completely contained solution where you're able to deploy your own work applications, work folders, work data, and it keeps it completely segregated from anything else. And the key thing there as well is that it prevents you from copying and pasting data out and putting it into one side. If your device is ever lost, it's an additional password, so it means that even if someone was able to pick up an unlocked device, they've only got access to your personal stuff. Concern for some people, but again, the business stuff is kept safe and protected in that container. The other thing is making sure that devices are kept up to date. So it goes back to the ePhoto conversation that we were having earlier on. That ability to deploy updates over the air, choosing what time, what device, what person they're deployed to, is really, really essential. So the fact is that if I know that, for example, Matt hasn't updated his device in the past week, even though he's had the notifications to go and do that, I can force that update to download. I can then force it to install without any user input, and I know that that device has been brought up to the security requirements it needs to be for my business, but also for those cybersecurity essentials policies as well.
Indeed, and many of our customers will have governance as a challenge that they face. So is there sort of specific industries or sectors that cyber essential security can really help with?
Well, applies to everyone now. Essentially, everyone should show a level of due diligence around protecting data, because again, the enforcement of things like GDPR means that customer data should be kept protected and made sure that you're doing the right things so that data doesn't leak. Containers are really, really important for that. And again, things like your updates will obviously be important for that. So the other thing as well is it will give you the audit trail. So it gives you the evidence that you've applied those updates and that you as a business are taking the right actions to remain secure. Obviously, as you start to become a larger business, the fines are much wider, much broader as well. So any large, medium to large size business should really be looking to do the basics, which is making sure the devices are updated in a timely manner, making sure they can prove that through an audit trail, making sure they're providing a correct EMM. And again, it comes back to the business perspective of making sure we're delivering usability and security, because the weakest point of any security is the actual user. So when you start to restrict a device too much, you will find that users will find a way to break around your security to functionally do what they need to do. Good example of that is emailing themselves data so that they can edit it and manipulate it how they want to, and then sending it back to themselves so they can send it out. Problem with that is that you're then relying on whatever personal security they've got on their own email accounts to protect that data they've sent out of there. So again, bringing risk to the business. Best thing you can do is make sure that you're supporting the users through the security that we provide, but protecting the business at the same time.
I would add to that as well. I think it's really important from a user experience point of view. We're seeing retention be a real challenge for some of our customers. So making sure that the technology is working effectively, and also making sure that the devices are fit for purpose for the individuals using them, is really important for staff retention and making sure that they're comfortable with the technology that they're using.
Okay. And we talked about verticalization. Thinking about the size of organizations and Knox Suite and how scalable, as you mentioned a moment ago, Aaron, what size of organizations, or where can organizations start with Knox in terms of number of licenses or number of users?
So there's no minimum or maximum requirements. So it could be one person, or it could be 10,000. There's no minimum or maximum entry point to it. Generally, what you'll tend to see is that anyone where you have employees who have data that are out in the field, corporately sensitive, or has customer data, really you should be looking at having some kind of management tool on there, whether that be Knox Manage or another partner that we work with. Controlling again those updates can be critical because of being a few months out of a security update does open you up to vulnerabilities. As you start moving up to larger scale, as I say, things like Knox Asset Intelligence, you may not want to deploy that to 5 devices because they might be closer in-house. But again, when you've got a warehouse where you're talking about thousands of devices doing scanning and packing every day, the ability to see those devices and actually see battery levels and shift levels, and actually even when your AP points are dropping in and out, can be really, really important, valuable information to you. So actually, again, you'll find that there is a solution that will sit within most business verticals, if not all business verticals, and then again, down to users from 5 up to millions, essentially. I mean, good example is Samsung themselves, right? So we use all of the Knox Suite ourselves in the way that we talked about earlier. So if you go to our head office in Korea, have a Samsung device with Samsung management, your camera will shut down, your microphone stop working because of all of the corporate data that's sat there. But in the same sense as, say, you have a nursery that's using it in the same features but in different ways.
So thinking about the customer's journey and the next steps, what are the opportunities available to them as part of the Knox Suite trial?
Yeah, so if a customer is really interested in some of the things we've talked about today, simplifying their deployment processes, if they've got in-house applications that they want to make sure are deploying correctly and they're managing efficiently, or if they're just interested in understanding more and getting some more intelligence using asset intelligence around how their estate is working, then we've got a Knox trial that's available to them. They can either follow the link in the description of this session or reach out to their Insight account manager, and we'd be more than happy to support them on that journey in understanding which part of the Knox Suite might be more specifically interesting for them.
Yeah, and when they do get to the point of looking to purchase devices and software as well, We have a category of devices that are called Enterprise Edition. So when they purchase an Enterprise Edition device and they purchase either a 2-year or 3-year Knox Suite key, they will get 1 year free included on that as well. So actually they're able to manage their estate slightly cheaper as well, which is always good. So that, just contact your Insight account manager around that one. And again, that's all supported out of the BSC as well. So any onboarding or any support they need, that's all included as well. So they can come through to the team in Leeds.
So that concludes today's discussion. I hope you found it useful and informative. I'd like to say a big thank you to Matt and to Aaron for sharing their insights. And if you would like any further information or support regarding your digital transformation journey, please click in the link and description and one of our specialists will be on hand to support you. Thank you.